Shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And a hearty, healthy Wednesday to all of you nutmeggers and scallywags across the fruited plain. It is none other than Reese on the radio, as the big voice just said. $219,360. I repeat, $219,360. That is how much money has been raised for MS-13. Hey, it's good work if you can get it. Now, I don't know whether or not Jessica, the mother of three, is going to turn that money around and buy an Escalade, but you never know. She could probably buy a 6'4" Impala, skirted out, maybe with the bouncy wheels. Who knows?
I would tell him to keep him and just keep the money.
Keep getting the money, right?
Yeah.
Is it Thursday? I thought it was Wednesday. Is
Thursday.
It Thursday? Oh man, it's Thursday. Darn it, I don't even know what day it is. Thank you, John. I appreciate you. But you're right. I would say keep them there, keep the money rolling in. She's got to take care of the babies. And I don't understand this. It will baffle me. Somebody's got to tell me what union day laborers are a part of. Someone's got to explain that to me, because I got one guy by the name of, let me see if I can find him here. We've got one guy claiming to be the union representative for Kilmar Armando Abrego, the union president, who says that I'm almost certain he's not an MS-13. Almost certain. In fact, I think his exact words were, I'm almost 100% sure. Just short of 100%. Giving himself some wiggle room. But he is the union rep. But I'm trying to understand, when do day laborers have a union? Because what we have confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt is that Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was a guy who hung out outside of Home Depot. Stood outside of Home Depot. And shout out to Home Depot. I'm just giving him a shout. I'm not going to lie. It's my wife and I's favorite place. We love that place. We go there all the time to go look at stuff that we already have and talk about replacing it. But that's what I understand that Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was doing. You know, aside from the usual work of trafficking humans, things like that. Becoming ranking members of MS-13, I don't know. But there's a considerable amount of money going into the coffers of Miss Vasquez, who, by the way, again, apparently is supposed to be married to him. Remember when he was the father of three? Now we realize he's only the father of one. He's the father of three. Oh, the other two kids aren't his. We also find out that the father of the two oldest children fighting to get custody of those children. Gee, I wonder why. Someone should get a hold of him. I said that because I've already tried to come up with nothing. We tried really, really hard to get in touch with him. We came up with nothing. But this woman seems to be making a lot of bank, and everything about him appears to be awful. His alleged wife has gotten restraining orders against him. He attacked her while she was in the car with the baby, screaming, punching her in the face, closed fist, poof, while driving erratically on the road with the babies in the car. Dad of the year. He even went so far, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to this one. Hold on to this one. It's my favorite one. He even hit her with his boot in the face. He hit her with his boot. This guy's a winner. This guy's a winner. He must be a Democrat. He's got to be. Well, we don't know whether or not he's voted yet. I hope he voted before ICE picked him up. I'm just saying, he's not a citizen. He probably voted first. We got people who are going all the way down to El Salvador to go get him. Can't get a meeting. Hi, we'd like to see the MS-13 prisoner you're holding. Yes. Who was arrested or pulled over for human trafficking, but the FBI let him go. Yes, that guy. Yeah, we can't? He's a dangerous person. No, not that guy. He's a Maryland father of 3. No, dude, we've got no records of criminality. What, beating his woman? We let that happen in sports all the time. We're America. Beating a woman is natural for American society today. We allow it in boxing, MMA. Yeah, it's the bee's knees down up here in America. So, of course, that's okay. You know, yesterday I got some crap from our African-American community. And our African-American community seemed to take issue with old Reese on the radio. They like to use the term sellout, or my favorite 2 words, self-hatred. And I love that because it completely goes against everything they know about me. Imagine being told, Reese on the radio, you are a self-hating black man. At the same time, calling me a narcissist who's in love with himself. You see, people on the Democrat side, they ain't known for their education, so they don't even understand when their hypocrisy smacks them in the face. It's okay. But since all they could talk about yesterday was about this self-hatred, it got me thinking this morning about self-hatred in the Democrat Party. And this Kilmar Abrego Guadalajara Garcia, whatever his name is, he is a true example of how the left hates themselves and this country. Everything they stand for is the antithesis of who we are as Americans. Self-hatred is who they, like, in order to be a progressive, you must self-hate. I'd like to go through a couple for you, not just for you, but for them. You see, the left believes that children are our future. They express this by having no issue with aborting them, promoting limiting their existence by people not having babies at all because of climate change, believing children are the future while pushing gender-affirming care, which destroys reproduction in this country. They also say that they believe all and protect all women while refusing to define what a woman is. Pushing men in women's sports, as I mentioned. How not believing in women if they're not the right woman. Like if they don't have the right ideology. Every woman's telling the truth. Christy Blasey Ford is telling the truth about Brett Kavanaugh. Tara Reid is lying about Joe Biden. Juanita Broderick is lying about Bill Clinton. They say they support black lives while ignoring them while they die in the inner city. Or admonishing them if they don't have the right political ideology. You see, George Floyd is a hero. Ben Carson, who actually performs brain surgery saving the lives of children, is evil. Herman Cain, who grew up in the segregated South and ate in a segregated diner in the back, His father, a limo driver. His mother, a housekeeper and a maid. In the segregated South, he's a sellout Negro. While Barack Obama, with a Kenyan father and a white mother, going to every Ivy League school, never suffering any segregation or poverty. He is the essence of being African American in this country. I don't know how that pans out, but apparently it does. They say that they're against modern-day slavery, unless it's the immigrants crossing the border to do that same labor. That's justified. Modern-day slavery, what you talking about? We ain't picking no cotton no more. That's why we need Jose. Supporting terrorists. Yeah, supporting people who wish to destroy the Western world, like Mahmoud. Khalil Mahmoud. And then excoriating America First hate patriots, like MAGA folks, or people who celebrate the flag. Do you remember the woman Marcia Gay from the New York Times who said that she was on Martha's Vineyard? Or one of those other places where all the rich whitey go. The Hamptons, that's it. She said she saw all those American flags and she felt terrorized. But somebody like Khalil Mahmoud, she would feel safe around. They demand free speech of Hamas protesters, but ignored the suppression of your free speech when you wanted to have conversations about COVID or vaccines or just conservatism. You wanted to open up a 501c3? You got shut down by the IRS and Lois Lerner. Do you remember that? I sure do. They support books like Genderqueer and other books that promote homosexual pornography. But the Bible, how dare you? How dare you bring that Bible into school? Sacrilege! Self-hating. The left seems to know all about that. I bring that up just to explain to them this is the reason why I'll never be bullied by these people. I know who they are. You may not find one person who can list all of these things down as far as who they are, but a majority of who they are the things that I just mentioned. There are people on the left who are listening to me right now who know, yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. Yeah, not so much, but a little bit me. They know. I tell them to their face. I tell them on these airwaves every day, 3 to 6 p.m. You'll never be able to shame me, bully me. You'll never be able to convince me otherwise because I know who you are. I look at you every day and watch your self-hatred and call it American. The difference between you and me is that I defend your right to hate everything about this country. Because giving you that right allows me to go on my mission to protect it every day. And every one of my cohorts, the people who listen to this network or follow me on Facebook or any bit of social media, they join me in that. They understand the mission. They understand our role. You're never going to defeat us. You can't. Your world is about self-destruction. Your world is about anarchy. Your world is about preserving nothing because you hate everything. You may hear some people call up on this network and talk about what it is that they can't stand about the left. I can't believe them. You even hear sometimes they try to reason with your thinking. I don't understand why they think that way, Reese. Why are Democrats like this, Reese? You see the difference between them and you? They seem to somewhat care. We know you don't. Again, I'm not here to expose you. You expose yourself. Right now, you're dying on another hill because you can't stick to one. I would ask you, what happened to the VA cuts that you were concerned about a couple of weeks ago? No mention of it. What happened to Doge and all the protests about that? Nowhere to be found. What's the problem with the rule of law that you were concerned with? I could have sworn not too long ago you were worried about the Trump administration going into schools and churches to find illegals and deport them. I don't hear you rallying around that at all. Social Security, you were just on 4 days ago. No mention of it today. Now you're talking about the Supreme Court and defying the Supreme Court. I remember after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, none other than Maxine Auntie Waters standing outside of that building saying, "We will defy the Supreme Court." Now it's important to you. You better listen to them. You better respect the rule of law. Get up out of here. The reason why no one takes you seriously is because you don't take yourself seriously. You grasp onto nothing. Let me put it this way before we go to a break. It's real simple. My oldest, Ayla, when she was about 13 years old, I used to tell this joke. Ayla one day came to me and said, "Dad, I want to be a tennis star." I said, "Okay, we'll get you some tennis gear." She then came to me and said, "I think I want to run track." I said, "Okay, we'll get you some track gear." She goes, "Well, you know what? Maybe I want to be a surgeon. You know, I think I want to go to medical school." Okay. All right, maybe we should get you some biology books. She goes, "No, you know what? I think I want to be a news reporter." I said, "Okay, and you know, I'm in the radio business. Maybe we can get you some interns at a radio station or maybe at a news network." And then she came to me and she said, "No, I think I want to do tennis." The punchline of that joke is, the next day, my little preteen was running around like a chicken with her head cut off, couldn't figure out what she wanted to do. She wanted to be anything and everything, all at the same time, because she couldn't make her mind up. And that's the Democrat Party, ladies and gentlemen. They're like children. They're like a cat toy or putting a flashlight on the ground in front of a kitten. She has no idea what she's doing. But that's what they're doing. They're just running around, finding the next thing. It's hard to defend everything when you defend nothing. And that's who these people are. Everything is a flight of fancy. It's always been the culture, from hip-hop to pop music to art. Everything that's hot today to a Democrat is old tomorrow. It's got a lifespan of 15 minutes. It gives us fodder here in the talk radio space, but that's who Democrats are. They're everything and nothing. I've always invited them to come on and defend what they believe, but you understand why they don't. It's not because they're scared to death. It's because they have no conviction. The one thing that you will recognize by us on the conservative side, and it's not always, it's not across the board, but the one thing you can definitely rely on with the conservative is that they stand by their beliefs. And when they do change their mind on something, you watch the progression as it happens. They are true to form. Liberals are children. And sometimes you have to treat them like that. We'll take your phone calls. The number is 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'll talk about this and much, much more. I am loaded for bear today on this Thursday on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, everybody. We are back. Don't forget that the month of April is peanut butter and jelly month.
A la peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Make sure you get to a Between Rounds bakery and get yourself a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Each purchase gives $1 to the Friendly Hands Food Bank. And that is all month long. And from what I hear from the folks at Friendly Hands Food Bank, they are going to expand this to other charities and other items that that Between Rounds actually sells. I actually watched the video today of that promotion. So I'll get into some of that because, of course, they are the official sponsor of Reese on the Radio. Kilmar Garcia. I want to play this supercut for you before I get to the phones. But this, again, remember, all of these people who were putting their weight behind the guy, and at the end of this supercut, his alleged wife, girlfriend, the woman he hit with a boot and a closed fist. Jessica, what's her name? Vasquez or something like that? I don't know, whatever.
First of all, there is no evidence that has ever been presented. Okay, there's no due process. There's no anything. That's a great. Every court has said bring him back. So what do we do? So well, we want to pivot to another issue. Let's just leave him down in some house over and dump. I am just think that it is an outrage that this guy is down there, and if the Democratic Party can't stand up for him, who the hell are we going to stand up for?
The truth is that Mr. Garcia was here legally in this country, was granted temporary protected status, has a U.S. citizen wife and kids, and he did not get due process. And again, the administration admitted that they mistakenly sent him there. So to me, this is a constitutional crisis. I am hearing from thousands of my constituents about their growing fears around fascism.
And this whole thing with Mr. Abreu Garcia, it's that old wisdom and terrifying is if you're not speaking up for this man, there will be no one left to speak up for you.
One of the inmates currently in that prison is a Maryland man legally working here in the United States, married to an American citizen with American children. His name is Kilmar Abreu Garcia, and he was kidnapped by ICE and rendered to the torture prison.
Today is 34 days after his disappearance, and I stand before you filled with spirit that refuses to bring down. I will not stop fighting until I see my husband alive. Kilmar, if you can hear me, stay strong. God hasn't forgotten about you.
Yes, he has.
Our children are asking, when would you come home? And I pray for the day I tell them the time and date that you'll return.
It's never.
As we continue through Holy Week, my heart aches for my husband.
Oh, does it?
Who should have been here leading our Easter prayers. Instead, I find myself leading with the Trump administration and the Bukele administration to stop playing political games with the life of Kilmar.
You mean the way that he played political games or played games with the lives of people that he trafficked? Or the gang activity he was participating in? Or how about your eyeball? That according to you, the paperwork I have right here in my hands, according to you, he didn't give you a black eye. He gave you a purple eye when he hit you in the face with a boot. You want to talk about playing political games? Somebody's playing games, young lady, and it ain't us. You and your entire community. You're not impressing us with the whole crowds of people holding your hands, shaking their head. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Nobody's falling for this nonsense. We had these press conferences with Michael Brown's family. We had these press conferences with Trayvon Martin's family. We had the whole, he's so innocent. He's just such a good person. Just such a good person. Oh, God. Oh, God. Nobody's falling for this. This woman was abused. And you know what I know that cancels all of it out? This woman was punched in the face, hit in the face with a boot. Okay? It's abuse. She took videos of it. She was scared to death of him. And now to be standing there which again just shows you what type of piece of cretins these are. These are truly pathetic, disgusting individuals. Even this woman who'd been abused knows she's been abused. Probably still has the video. If one of her handlers hasn't told her to delete it yet before some really, really industrious sleuth gets it out of the cloud. You know damn well that every one of these people are evil. Evil. I read some of this stuff, even though it was in the worst English ever. I told him to give me his card to pay. He got angry, started insulting me. I only put a few of gas. Once leaving there, he pulled out like crazy. I started recording because I was scared of the way he was driving and because our 1-year-old was in the back seat. In the recording, you can hear him yelling, insulting me, driving extreme fast. This was on May 4th of 2021 at 1 a.m. I was watching on my laptop, and he yelled at me to turn it off. I told him I wasn't sleepy. He got angry. He reached over and threw the laptop on the floor. And the baby started to cry because he was, what was this? Oh, he was putting pressure on him. Why was he putting pressure on him? I guess he's on his seat. And my initial reaction was to push him off us. And then he punched me and scratched me on my left eye, leaving me bleeding. That same day at 2 a.m., he came home to say that he was going out with a friend. That was 2 p.m. I was going to say 2 a.m. going out with a friend. I told him that I needed to go. He ripped my shorts and shirt off. And I ran to the bathroom. That's what we're bringing back. Her response, by the way, she's been asked about this. Well, you know, some people have problems in their marriage. You know, it's like any other marriage. I don't know, ladies. You tell me. Is this like any other marriage? Your husband ever round off, punch you in the eye, hit you in the face with a boot? You tell me. I don't know. I've only gone through this 4 times. All women must be believed unless they go against the narrative. Yeah, exactly. Let's go to the phones. I got to hold off from Mike because I know what Mike's calling about. I'm sure it's about that press conference today. I'll get him. Dave is in Ellington. How we doing, buddy?
4 times?
Dave?
Who is this?
It's Reese. Actually, we'll put you on hold. You're not ready yet. Let's go to Wall Street Joe. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, hi. That lady you were just talking about down in Maryland, you don't know why she's playing this game now?
I know
the answer.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say it has something to do with the $219,000 she's raised.
Absolutely. It was 165. It was 165,000 yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's the new total, and it's streaming up toward $1 million. So she's playing the game for the big bucks. That's all this is about. Like any other Democrat, Chris Murphy, the whole bunch. It's all about the Biden crime family. It's all about the money.
Wait until I get to him. I'm gonna get to him in a second. There's something interesting that you're saying in this about the donations. So, by the way, if you want to see the actual GoFundMe page, it just says Aid for Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. Just put in his name and GoFundMe, and you can find the picture of her with the 3 kids and him, and they're smiling and whatnot. But here's the interesting part. So I saw this is crazy. So when you donate, Joe, you can donate anonymously. Of course, you can donate, letting people know who you are. On the front page of the donation, with a whopping $3,723, it was donated by a company called Malicious Women Candle Company. I couldn't believe. I'm like, I wouldn't have made that public. I would have put that as anonymous. Malicious Women Candle Company.
That sounds like a coven of witches or warlocks.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I would make myself anonymous. I'm trying to figure out. I was like, maybe I should find out who this company is. Yeah, they donated a whopping $3,723.
You know what, Reese? If you made a very token donation to this fund, $1, $10, I'll bet you could get her on your show and interview her for 5 minutes.
You know what? That is not false. That is 100% true. Oh, my goodness, that is 100% true. You know what? You maybe give me an idea. Now let me see if WTIC will fund it. What do you think, Roland? You think they'll fund it?
Well, I've given you a lot of good ideas over the years, but I don't think TIC backs my ideas because it'd be too controversial. It would bring the Democrat and Ned Lamont down on the station. They'd be a target. So they don't want to be a target, but that's a great idea.
It is, but listen to me. Ned Lamont, first of all, that whole thing, the blackout of the Reese on the Radio show by Ned Lamont and Chris Murphy, all of that is about to end. I promise you. It's about to end. And there is such a strategy that's going on that they will have no choice but to be on the show. I promise you that. I
would be shocked.
I know everybody would be shocked. That's why I'm getting it done. So we'll get into that soon. Thank you, Joe. I want to play this, speaking of Chris Murphy, because Joe brought him up.
Everybody hates Chris.
I want to tell you why the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia should matter to you. This is an individual who came to the United States over 10 years ago. He was given protected status by a court, meaning that he could not be removed back to El Salvador because his life would be in jeopardy if he left. He's got American citizen children, American citizen wife. He's got a job here. Donald Trump ignored that court order and deported him. It was such a brazen violation of the law that the Supreme Court weighed in. In a rare 9-0 ruling, the Supreme Court said that Trump had to bring this individual back to the United States, but he still didn't do it. This is the constitutional crisis. It's the confrontation between the court saying that the president has to bring Abrego Garcia back home and Trump refusing to do it. And why should this matter to you? Because if the president has the power to jail and prison, to deport anyone, even if they have a legal right to be here as a citizen or through protected status given by the courts, then none of us are safe. Today, it's this El Salvadorian immigrant, but tomorrow it could be you or me.
Oh, wait. Murphy, it could be you? You mean that if Donald Trump can disappear Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, it could be you? Let's give it a shot. I mean, I'm just saying, come on, Chris Murphy. Let's put our money or our legal status where our mouth is. It could be you, you say, huh? Well, let's test those waters. Let's find out whether or not Chris Murphy is really afraid or he's just talking out the side of his ass. This is why this guy's a clown. This is why he's a joke. It could be you. It could be me. Really, Chris? Nobody's that dumb. Perhaps your voters. But maybe that's the point, right? We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, man, I would love to see somebody trying that with Chris Murphy. That would be insane. I mean, we got to put that in the heads of Trump. He's really, really afraid that he might get disappeared. Come on, Chris. White Mike, what's up, good friend? How are you, sir?
Hey, man, real good. So I was thinking, white people must have really seasoned the heck out of our food before like 1968, because black folks sure had a hard on to get in there and eat it.
What happened?
No, you mentioned discriminated restaurants earlier in the show.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I don't understand about that, I don't even understand that discrimination, because that makes no sense to me. That's a stupid, anyway, it's a non-starter as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I'm assuming you saw the press conference and this guy is not the father. This is the spokesperson for the Carmelo Anthony family. that was doing his press conference with his mother.
It's just wacky, man. The guy is upset that the father of Austin Metcalf went to the press conference and he found it insulting. Like, well, I'm so sorry the little murderer's feelings are hurt and he feels bad. But I'm going to give a quick little dodge here.
Yeah.
There was a mass shooting, quote unquote, at
FSU.
Florida State University.
Mm-hmm.
And the media has lost their minds, right? It's nonstop coverage. They've got their microphones in front of what are apparently Democratic activists who immediately say we need more gun control and Ron DeSantis and Trump are at fault. And I find it funny that, like, there was a high school shooting in Dallas yesterday, and nobody said anything. I don't want to say anything, but the guy who did the shooting at the Dallas high school definitely didn't worry about sunburn. And they're assuming that.
Well, no, I actually watched his confession video. So, and I know you're talking about. So, what Mike is talking about, this young man, 17-year-old boy, he went to his school and shot up what the kids called their ops, just his opposition. And he pretty much explained the reason for shooting individuals at a school, his rivals at this school. And his friends are in the car with him after the shooting took place. And this young man, shirtless, driving the cars, talking about how he took the lives or was planning on taking the lives of these individuals, saying that he was sick and tired of his people being shot and killed. Now, when you first hear it, you start thinking to yourself, what do you mean his people? Is it a racial thing? No, it's just a rival thing. He then starts talking about his grandmother and his mama who had died and all this other stuff, but saying that someone had threatened his life and he wasn't going out like that. He was taking his own life. And you're 100% right. This is a brazen attack that a boy is on camera filming himself, bragging about and justifying, and not 1 ounce of media coverage other than what you saw on X.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And on the FSU one, I was watching my local coverage, and somebody calls up and says, oh, well, these assault rifles. It's like they already have a description that it was a guy with a pistol.
And a shotgun. So I think there's one unpublished report there was a shotgun. But no AR-15 or anything like that.
No. So it's just a joke, man. And what it tells you is the left are truly racist. They're, people say that some of the stuff I is racist just because I kind of like live in statistics and recognize patterns. But these people are just racist.
Yeah.
Good God. They don't care at all.
It's so apparent.
Enough black people get murdered in Chicago every weekend to like stage a touring company of the Wiz, and they don't say anything.
But you know why?
Nothing.
Do you understand why? They said actually covering the news of black kids dying in the inner city, they say by covering it, they would be called by civil rights leaders in the community. They would be called racist for even addressing it or bringing it up in the news reports. That's why. I got to go to a break, man, but I love you, buddy. That's the reason why they don't talk about it. It's sad, but it's true. Let's get our first check this afternoon of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. I forgot what day it was, Mark. I do this so often. I don't even know it was Wednesday. I thought it was
Wednesday.
Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday.
No, it's Thursday. Yeah.
I thought it was Wednesday.
Don't back it up. Don't back it up.
What's wrong with you?
Weather on Saturday.
Oh, that's right. 70s.
Yeah. That's huge.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Another check of weather and traffic in a moment. Stand by for that. You may have heard that on Tuesday there was a viral video that went out about Easton Representative Ann Hughes. And again, I can't play the audio here because it just sucks over on the radio. But you remember what it was that she said. Tax my people, they won't even know. That was what was going so insane. But see, the thing that I want people to notice is not that she said the quiet part out loud. What should be done here, and I know some people are creatures of habit. I'm going to go sort of off the deep end here, so give me a second. So that she said it. She's been allowed to explain herself. And in doing so, she reveals something very usual about people on the left. Her explanation for saying this, tax my people, they won't even notice, was that, I meant the richest of us, the billionaires. Okay. Has anybody seen the median income of Easton? It's about $135,000. It's median income. That's good. That is good. And maybe there are some people in there who don't mind being taxed. But see, what the Representative Ann Hughes says here is that she felt that even her constituents wouldn't notice if you tax them. They're not paying attention. So therefore, she can do whatever she wants, which speaks to a bigger thing. When I say representing you without your consent, that's what she's doing. She doesn't care what you know. In fact, she doesn't believe that you even notice what she's doing. So therefore, she can run out. She tells the governor, you want to hire some taxes, put some higher taxes up? Don't worry about it. My people won't even notice it's going in. So that means that she wouldn't even bother to inform them. She would do it right behind their backs. And her explanation is usually typical, the knee-jerk reaction from a leftist, a Marxist, a crony. Yeah, I mean the richest one. The ones that are millionaires and the billionaires. Not you know what, I should be more representative. By the way, she was also asked how many of her constituents represent these people that she wanted to tax. She had no idea. How long has Representative Ann Hughes been representing Eastern Connecticut? Yeah, exactly. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Would the correct answer be too long?
Yeah, way too long.
I was just guessing there. Hey.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, I can't believe that guy sometimes. Anyway, Leticia James, we talked about yesterday with this whole mortgage fraud thing that's going on. And I know I stand by this. I said this yesterday, and I said it. I think I was talking to my ex-wife or whatever, and I said this, that there's something very, very technical about what went on in this real estate fraud and the Donald Trump charges that she levied against him and his businesses, getting a real estate deal, even though there were no victims, right? The bank was told or urged to do their own due diligence, which they did. They haggled the rate of the loan. They gave him the loan. He paid back the loan. And they're going there. It's something in my head said, there's something fishy about this, because while she was bringing this case to Donald Trump, in essence, she was doing the same thing. She was lying on mortgage documents. And again, as much as I try not to call some of these people stupid, it's one or the other. It's got to be. It's got to be coordinated, or it's just absolute malfeasance. But according to the documents on the Virginia property, this isn't about the earlier properties in the 1980s or in even 2011. We're talking about the property in Virginia. That happened in 2023. And this guy by the name of Sam Antar, who's a forensic accountant, he breaks this down. And it's really, just pay attention to when this happens. Because did Leticia James think no one was going to figure this out? That no one was going to look into this?
She purchased a property with a relative. This is in 2023, a few weeks. She closed
2 years
on,
ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She closed on it right before the Trump trial. And in the filed documents with the county clerk's office, there was a power of attorney that she gave her cousin or niece to close the mortgage.
Yep.
And on the power of attorney, she represented that I intend to use this property as my primary residence. Now, there's two problems with that. The first problem is she lied on a power of attorney. Would anybody really believe that she was going to move to Virginia in the middle of the Trump trial? Second part is there's Section 6 of the mortgage that states that the borrower, meaning her and her niece, have to occupy the property as their primary residence within 60 days. Not one or the other, both.
So that means she had 60 days from the signing to occupy that residence full time. She's in the middle of this lawsuit, or at least the civil suit against the Trump administration. So I keep going back to this, and Ed Schoen, who's on Fox News on the weekend, he's the weekend anchor, and a couple of other people have said this, and they keep bringing it up, is that even though she is the district attorney or the attorney general of New York, if Virginia is her primary residence and she has got any cases that she is filing as an attorney where she's practicing law in New York, it would be null and void. Not many people are talking about it, but again, I'm not an attorney. Maybe somebody out there who's a lawyer can clear this up with me. Because there is no dual residency here. And I do believe, it's not that I don't think it's possible. There's something I do believe is possible. That you can, according to the Bar Association, you can have legal residency in another state with a license to practice law elsewhere. I believe that. Again, not a lawyer, but I'm certain of that. I'm using a very rudimentary understanding of that law. Someone's going to have to tell me in the chat room if you know somebody who's a lawyer, married to a lawyer, sleeping with a lawyer. Just let me know or ask them. Pick up the phone and say, is that true? Because a lot of people they're almost tapping at the idea that if there's any charges that she levied against anyone in the state of New York, while she is supposed to be a resident of Virginia, that any charges she levied may be null and void. Again, it sounds crazy, but I'm hearing people rumble about this. And it's probably because they're not sure, but something in my head's, because if this is true, that she can do this no matter where she resides, then there would be a full-throated defense of this by Leticia James. But no one's talking. No one is talking. And look, you know that old saying, like saying, court of law, you don't have to say anything. Like if you're in trial, you don't have to defend yourself, on the stand. That's not the case in this. If there is verifiable evidence that what she did was on the up and up, she has legal documentation to at least defend herself. And the story's over. Right? She completely embarrasses the Trump administration by saying, yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. See, here's document A, B, C, and 3. Don't. You know what Michael A. said, Roland? Michael A. said, don't call the timeshare guy because he doesn't like attorneys. Oh, Michael A., good callback. I like that. No, I will not call him. He says he knows a few, though. He had to apologize to a couple of his attorney friends. But I'm almost certain of that the whole thing is illegal, and if possible, maybe even the charges against Trump. Now, I will tell you right off the bat, I believe that during the appeal of Donald Trump's case, if I'm Trump's attorneys, I go in there with this newfound evidence and just say, Your Honor, the basis of this lawsuit, all of it, is nonsense. We have a prosecutor who brought this case who's guilty of doing the exact thing my client has been convicted of or found guilty of. This can't stand. Rama says she likely counted on Cameo winning. Yes, I saw that story. I saw somebody report that as well. Said she likely counted on Kamala winning so she wouldn't have to worry about scrutiny. I mean, she had to know that somebody was coming for her, but you know what? Here's the arrogance of her, because she was everywhere, even after, saying, I'm still going after. She was at the National Action Network talking with Al Sharpton, saying, I'm still going on. But you know what? Who I'd really love to hear from right now? You know who I'd really love to talk to right now? That is William Tong. Speaking of attorney generals, hey, attorney general, you remember that press conference that you had in New York with Leticia James? You know, pounding your chest? You know, a united front against Donald Trump? Yeah, your Sasquatch may be going down. Are you going to not return her phone calls, act like you don't know her? Maybe ask the news media to scrub that whole meeting and press conference as well. I'd love to get somebody to tell me, hey, Attorney General Tong, Sasquatch, real estate fraud. Got any comment? He'll probably ask who Sasquatch is, but he knows that woman stood 4 feet above him. Press conference. Oh, man. Anyway, let's go. Let's go to the phones. My man, Dave in Brantford. How are you, sir?
Geez, you were on quite a roll there, Reese. I'm not happy to be with my mundane topic.
Oh, come on. You're always good here, Dave. You know that.
We're gonna make height jokes. It's like the barking chihuahua standing next to Sasquatch. That would be my retort to yours. Okay, I have a kind of a personal Connecticut gripe. I'm an old putz, and as of May 7th, you will need the upgraded Gold Star Real ID driver's license to get on an airplane.
Correct.
So because I want to be able to visit friends and relatives who live out of Connecticut and get on a plane, I got to upgrade the driver's license. Okay, so my driver's license expires next summer, so I've only got like 12, 14 months left on it.
Okay. But wait a minute, you're supposed to get your new one. Hold on, Dave. You're supposed to get your new one by May something, right? Isn't it supposed to be the end of May?
May 7th, but you don't need to replace it. It's only if you want to get on an airplane. You
Gotcha.
have to have it.
Gotcha.
The old one is good enough to drive around in Connecticut.
Understood.
So, okay, so here's the deal. I needed a new birth certificate, so I had to go to a big city in Connecticut, and it cost $20 to get the birth certificate.
Not bad.
I happens not to have an original certified copy.
Right.
So I went to the big city, paid the parking fee, $20. Now, to upgrade the license, you have to pay the state of Connecticut $35 to get the reissued Real ID driver's license.
That puts us at $55.
$55 plus the parking fee plus the gas for me to get to Bridgeport. It was a pain in the neck, and okay. So we'll leave it at that.
Right.
So you say. So I called up the state to say this is not fair because it's mostly old people who don't have the updated license.
Correct.
The younger people, this was always the law, and so they got one initially. So it's mostly the oldsters who have to upgrade the license, and we're making them pay $35. So the guy says this would be the governor's hotline. He said, well, this is a federal requirement. We didn't do this. Reese, the answer is nobody picked $35 out of a hat. The state picked that number.
That's correct.
To pay DMV to upgrade. Now, I'm going to turn it. I'm all done with that. I think that's a gripe. This is outrageous that I have to pay, all that money just to be able to get on a plane. What does my driver's license have to do with my getting on an airplane? What is the nexus? And say, well, that's the way it is. Now, here's the deal. The exact same paperwork I need to upgrade my driver's license, the birth certificate, the 2 pieces of mail, the Social Security number, that is exactly the paperwork you need for the SAVE Act to sign up to become a new voter, that act that the federal government wanted to enhance for election security.
That's right.
And the state Republicans wanted the same act in Connecticut for election security. And by the way, you don't pay any money to sign up to vote.
That's
It's
right.
just a little bit of a pain in the neck to get the paperwork. And my point is, no Democrats are complaining about the rigmarole I have to go through and the money to upgrade my driver's license. But this is just such a burden for those new voters, God forbid.
That's such a great point. Listen to me.
Okay.
That gripe completely, it absolutely ends on itself. It's a perfect circle. All right, what was the last thing?
And I'm done.
Oh, that's it.
No,
Okay.
I'm done. That was
Dave,
the
that
whole
was,
circle.
listen to me,
Bye.
that was brilliantly done. It was if you wrote it. Brilliantly done. You brought it full circle. Thank you, boss man. I always appreciate him calling in. He's always got a spot here on the show. Yeah, it's a good point. Not one person complaining about that Real ID and make a big guff about citizens being able to show proof of identification in order to vote. It's insane. Anyway, when we come back in a minute, Harvard Did you know that according to a new report, Harvard University has hosted a Wikipedia edit-a-thon? Law students target the pages of firms that scrutinize a school's response to anti-Semitism. They went on Wikipedia and they actually edited it. This is actual class that Harvard is promoting. Also, Connecticut students' visas revoked. We talked about this a little yesterday. We have one or two people who have had their their visas revoked and what they've done. We'll talk about that in the next coming break. And also, the stupidest thing I read today involves Lisa Murkowski and what she said about her colleagues as well. We've also got news on the Secretary of State and her comments, and then that's pretty much it. Yeah. And then, of course, your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. So stick around for that. If we get any more updates on the no longer active shooter, the shooter in custody at Florida State University, I will give that to you as we proceed. I think there's a press conference happening in the next couple of minutes, and we'll get the details of that as well. Let's get some weather and traffic, and it looks pretty good out there. Jason Caterina's got your weather, and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sorry, I'm a little late getting to the mic there. I'm actually watching the press conference as it's going on live, so there are plenty of opportunities, of course, for you to check that out. What I was able to gather is that the numbers that have been coming out was that there weren't certain of any of the victims having died, but according to police, 2 people are confirmed dead. They also state that those 2 individuals at the student union building where it took place were not students of Florida State University. They do have the suspect in custody. He has also suffered injuries or a bullet wound, I'm assuming, in the engagement with police, and he is in custody with them, I'm sure with a guard. They are not releasing anybody's name, even the shooter, at this time. So the press conference is going on now. If you're interested in checking it out, of course, I'm listening to it. I just put it on pause so I could get some more details from it. I was writing it down as we were in break. So, of course, stay with WTIC, top of the hour news, and as we get those details to find out how those events unfolded, what took place. Apparently, this happened within a matter of minutes. FSU police was on the scene immediately as the gunfire began. So, and of course, Connecticut, we're all too familiar, especially on school grounds. And this is, everyone's always harking back, to Sandy Hook, and I totally respect that. So I'm always very respectful of this conversation under those circumstances. I don't like to get into the whole thing where everybody's talking about what the politicians are saying. Dad, you're already blaming this. I know. We know that. We understand. At this point, it sounds horrible, but I don't want to get into this place where I'm back to complaining about the things that I expect people to do. Yeah. That's the world that I live in. I stop complaining about people being who they are. I know who they are. So I don't get into all of that nonsense. Our prayers are with, of course, not just the loved ones' families, but, of course, those who have been injured in the entire community, no matter where this happens. Our thoughts, our prayers, our condolences, and our hopes go out to those people. So I'm sure many of you feel the same way. So, like I said, I'll keep an eye on it as those details come out. So, look, I admit, in the beginning, we do all of the morning, and then the morning after, we do all the analysis, and we break it down. I call myself this incredible chaos person, but now I'm starting to understand why. But that's another story. I'll talk about that another time. Don't forget, tomorrow, we've got Ladies' Night at Reese on the Radio. It is what I call my effort to engage with more women in talk radio. And so we are going to have Mrs. on the radio on the program tomorrow. That's Roseanne. And this one's an interesting one we'll talk about tomorrow, but I'm not going to tease it now because I'll start calling about it now. But I will let you know tomorrow at the beginning of the show. We're going to do Ladies' Night. By the way, if you're wondering where that theme is.
Yes, it's Ladies' Night.
Of course, one of our Roseanne, our favorite scene from The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler is that part. Anyway, we'll get to weather and traffic. Jason Caterina's got a great forecast for you. And Mark Christopher, it's actually been kind of moderate traffic today. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, I know you've never seen The Wedding Singer. I know it's never seen it, right?
I apologize. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
That's all right. It's okay. It's like I can't have these conversations with you. It's all right. It's all right.
Ask me about a Beavis and Butthead episode, and I could tell you everything
You
about
gotta
that.
be kidding me. I know nothing about that show.
You don't know Beavis and Butthead?
Nah,
Mike Judge?
No. I know who Mike Judge is, King of the Hill. I mean, and Office Space. I get all of that. Those things, I never got into any one of those things. His sense of humor is just not mine. Maybe I should give it a shot. Yeah. Goodbye.
If you're heading into Hartford right now, just ask me something about Beavis.
Yeah,
and
no
Butthead.
problem.
I'll
do my homework. I'll do my
If you're
homework.
heading into Hartford, southbound 91 delays 36 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. After that, a little slow as you move 19 down to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway in Meriden. Northbound 91, brief slowdown by 20 Country Club Road in Middletown. After that, you are moving well coming into downtown Hartford. Now, 91 southbound, the cameras are off right now. There was an accident between exit 34 and 33, 91 south in Hartford in the HOV lane that was blocking that. So not sure if that's cleared yet, but there is slow traffic through there from 35 down to 32 A and B. Now, if you are traveling on the northbound side of 91, that's moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing as you move into the tunnel. If you are traveling on the eastbound side of 291, a little slow by exit 4 in South Windsor. 2 westbound slowing in East Hartford, exit 4 up to the 84 west merge.
Kathy,
9
welcome
northbound
home.
Slowing in Middletown at the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing by 18. Westbound 84 sluggish and stop and go 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, you're going to see slow traffic in New York State from 684 out to exit 5 in Danbury on 84 East. 84 eastbound slowing again in Danbury from 8 out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, tight traffic 61 down to 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound, you got delays 46 in New Haven down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Was John Lovitz not the skeeviest guy in that movie? My God. High clearing chilly tonight, the low down to 32, mostly cloudy, breezy for us our Friday afternoon. Beautiful day, though, the high up to 66.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Crazy Thursday here on Reese on the radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. What did I just... Oh, okay. I didn't realize. I was like, why is my screen doing that? Yeah, I like Jason Caterina too. He can come in and just say that one line, and it's beautiful. We celebrate him when he does it. So hopefully we could get I wish we could get a feed with him and Mark Christopher so we could get it because he's a great addition, at least for me. I love him on this show, and he just knows exactly what to say, even when he doesn't like Reese's peanut butter or Reese's Pieces on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which I won't hold against him. But he just has the right line. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. We have to get into this thing.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today, Lisa Murkowski says this of her colleagues in the Senate. They are terrified of being punished for criticizing Trump. What about that is stupid? Let me explain. Does anybody remember Barack Hussein Obama? Does anybody remember Joe Biden criticizing Donald Trump? People are terrified. Could you criticize Barack Obama when you were in office? One guy said, "You lie," during a State of the Union address of Barack Obama, and you thought they were going to hang him in public for even criticizing him. You couldn't criticize Barack Obama if you weren't a member of the Senate. If you were an average citizen, criticism of Barack Obama as the president of the United States would be like, I don't know, tantamount to criticizing Kim Jong-un. Are these people crazy? We used to call it party unity. And people talk about this cultism or this cult-like behavior with Donald Trump as if we don't remember Barack Obama. Are you guys crazy like we don't? There were kids in school. Barack Hussein Obama. Do you not remember that? They were singing songs about him. They were singing songs about him. They didn't know anything about him, and I mean nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing about him. They were celebrating things about him that were absolutely insignificant. Dave Ignatius. Was it him or was the other guy? I can't remember his name. Somebody from the New York Times. His name will come to me. That bozo actually wrote an article in the New York Times celebrating the sharpness in the crease of Barack Obama's pants as a testament to who he was as a man. What did you think? Barack Obama had an iron and an ironing board and was sitting in the hotel room creasing his slacks? That's what they were celebrating about this guy. Audacious. Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember Chris Matthews and the thrill up his leg? The tongue baths from Brian Williams, who always had to be around Barack Obama no matter what. How about Barack Obama's first, couple of days at the White House where they had to stop the press conference to ask Barack Obama, how does it feel? How does it feel? Have you had a chance to take it all in? What have you eaten? Did you get a chance to breathe the air of the White House? What silverware did you use? What hip-hop record did you dance to in the Blue Room? Which rapper are you going to invite first? Will it be Will Smith or Young MC? Does anybody forget all that? I didn't. I was there for it. It was absolutely despicable. You couldn't criticize him on either side of the aisle. This guy was allowed to do anything he wanted to. We used to have this running joke. Hey, did you hear Barack Obama slapped a baby? Really? What did the baby do? Other acceptable answers are, was the baby a Republican? Yeah. How dare you people? And again, for these people to report on this, they're afraid of Donald Trump. She's so scared. She's in public telling people that she's scared. Where Barack Obama scared everybody out of their own ideology, whatever morals they stood on. He scared them to death so much they would never go to the media and tell them, quietly or anonymously what they really thought of him. They wouldn't even trust the media to anonymously criticize the first black man, second black man to be the president of the United States. They didn't trust them because they knew the media would reveal it somehow. Did you hear what so-and-so said? We regret to inform you that such and such has openly admitted that they don't like Barack Obama. I said that off the record. Well, we couldn't do that. It's Barack Obama. We have to expose everybody who doesn't like him as being a racist. I'm black. It doesn't matter. Black people can be racist too. It didn't matter. How dare these people? Absolutely ridiculous. Let's go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. What's up, Mike? How are you?
Hi, Reese. How are you? I was kind of snickering at some of the things you said about Barack Hussein Obama and, people being fearful and all. My neighbor and I both had lawn signs out that, stated our opinions on Obama. And wouldn't you know, one day he gets called into the IRS for an audit. And about 3 weeks after that, I got called in to the IRS with an audit. Now, what are the chances of two people in a small town who they can see each other's houses, but coincidentally, we both have lawn signs that, state our opinion on the Obama administration, and we get audited. When I was in there, I had to bring so much stuff that was requested. And at one point, I stopped and asked the guy, I said, can I ask you a question? And, he barely would want to answer me. Finally, he acknowledged me. He says, what? I said, can you tell me why I'm here? And he looks at me. He says, we have filters. He looks back down and goes back to his writing. I said, I'm not sure I really know what that means. He looks up again, leans into me, and seriously says, we have filters. Went back to his work. So basically, I spent the entire day in the federal building going through paperwork, and the guy says, okay, you can go now. Well, that happened to my neighbor, too. And
wow.
So, yes, that's
insanity.
Story. And there was rumors at the time going around saying if you were speaking out against the Obama administration, here's a phone number you can call. So, did that happen to me? I can't say for sure, but I can say for sure that the both of us went through something that, wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Wow. But you know what? It's not unheard of. In essence, to bully you, right? Not like they were ever going to bring charges against you, but the objective was to sort of scare you into silence. How dare you criticize him?
That's correct.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry you went through that.
I agree with that.
You know what? I hate the fact that you went through that, but I'm glad you survived it. Maybe we could get past that and tell your neighbor too, buddy. I know this. I'll tell that story soon, but I'm 100% in agreement with you that it's not beyond the pale for that administration to do that. Totally understand it. Thank you, Mike.
Right.
You got it. Okay, I've got this in the chat room, so I want to read it to you. And I'm always I want people to know Reese on the radio is always ready. Let me read the comment in the chat room. It says, Obama was accused of being born in Kenya. He was called an affirmative action admittance to Harvard. His wife was accused of being a man. Barack Obama did nothing. His mouth recklessly like Donald J. Trump. Okay, now let's deal with the most important thing. Because I know that this particular individual in the chat room is actually viewing online. So to my right is an actual picture of Barack Obama, and it's the inside liner of his first book called Dreams from My Father. Now, I know that you can't probably read this at all, but Barack Obama was never told he was born in Kenya. Barack Obama told us he was born in Kenya. Okay? Barack Obama told us he was born in Kenya. Let me read from his first book, Dreams from My Father, the inside liner, the biography portion of his book being introduced to the reader. Barack Obama, the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review, was born in Kenya and raised in Indonesia and Hawaii, the son of an American anthropologist and a Kenyan finance minister. Roland, did you want to opine? Oh, I thought his microphone was open. Anyway.
No.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, what would I? What would I
Oh,
have
no,
to
no. It
say?
sounded like your mic was up, and I thought you wanted to chime in. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
Okay,
no.
Okay. Okay. So just to make it clear, for those of you in the chat room, that document is an absolute fact written by Barack Obama, first-time author, wrote the liner notes and his biography on his own book. No one else wrote it. There is no evidence that anyone else wrote it. And if someone did, they got the information from Barack Hussein Obama. And that, sitting on my screen, is a copy of the actual print. Let's read it again. Barack Obama, the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review, was born in Kenya and raised in Indonesia and Hawaii. The son of an American anthropologist and a Kenyan finance minister. He attended Columbia University and worked as a financial journalist and editor for Business International Corporation. He served as project coordinator in Harlem for the New York Public Interest Research Group and was executive director of the Development of Community Project in Chicago South Side.
There are 2 Rolands at the station, right?
Okay, then your microphone is on. Anyway, his commitment to social and racial issues will be evident in his first book, Journeys in Black and White. Barack Obama wrote that book. Barack Obama wrote that liner note. Barack Obama began the rumors of being born in Kenya. No one else. But in typical fashion, somebody from the inner city doesn't know how to take accountability for their own wrongdoing. So when I see this, and I point that out, which, by the way, plenty of people did, and then tried to blame everybody else for just reporting what he gave us, I would say go back to Barack Obama and say, hey, buddy, you want to explain this? Don't put it on us. Don't put it on us. We had nothing to do with it. Perhaps he lied, or he was telling the truth, but that onus isn't on us. That's on him. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, I have proof that he was born in Kenya. Okay? If you want to say this, like Donald Trump said he claimed that he had proof of Obama being born in Kenya. I do. I just showed it to you. Barack's own words. I would call that proof. Is that not enough for you? Forget about what Donald Trump said about it. What did Barack Obama say about it? Isn't he proof enough? Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, I hope you guys will bear with me, and I'll get to the phones in a quick second, but I want to play this audio for you so far. This is coming from the Tallahassee Police Department.
Because of this person's actions. The question as it relates to who is the shooter is 20-year-old
Can't hear it.
Phoenix Eichner. And he's the son of a Leon County Sheriff deputy. Our Deputy Eichner, has been with the Leon County Sheriff's Office for over 18 years. She has a tremendous job that she's done. Her service to this community has been exceptional. Unfortunately, her son had access to one of her weapons, and that was one of the weapons that was found at the scene. And we are continuing that investigation into how that weapon was used and what other weapons perhaps he may have had access to. And we understand that you all have been devastated.
So that's what we got so far. Again, the shooter has been identified as Phoenix Eichner, I-K-N-E-R, Eichner. He was featured in an article about people who are protesting at FSU about Donald Trump. In that article, Eichner is quoted. Give me a moment and I'll actually read that quote to you. It took me a minute to actually find him in the article. But the reporter from FSU News was talking about how, the campus was dealing with some of the things like rolling back of DEI and LGBTQ-based diversity initiatives. And then they get to Phoenix Eichner. Here's his quote. "These people are usually pretty entertaining, usually not for good reasons." Phoenix Eichner, a political science major, said, "I think it's a little too late. He's already going to be inaugurated on January 20th, and there's not really much you can do unless you outright revolt. And I don't think anyone wants that," was his quote. Many people have said that statement is ambiguous. Some people say it's outright right-wing. Others say otherwise. That's all we got so far. I'm seeing other stories all over the place, but what I do here, I give you the news as it's reported, and then we go from there. He is alive. He will be questioned, and those details will come out. And the demand for finding out what his purpose was, who was targeted, if anyone, was it random, all of that's going to come out in less than 24 hours because there are people on the ground. The level of independent journalism today is striking. So when the mainstream media holds that stuff from the rest of us, thank God for independent media who gets the details to us. So stay tuned, of course, at Reese on the Radio. You can go to my Facebook page. I will update anything that's on there. And, of course, right here live at the top of the hour news on WTIC. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
I just got a message inside the chat room. Thank you, Christina K., for your message. Len Bestoff of NBC Connecticut, I apologize, that was bad. NBC Connecticut is doing a follow-up story on Janet Serrano at 6 p.m. immediately after the show. It'll probably be about 5-10 minutes in, if you want to check that out. I'll wait till his report before I talk about it tomorrow. His reporting, I guess he's got some other stuff that he's got going on, but he does have a follow-up story on that, so I'm going to leave it for Len. So tomorrow, NBC Connecticut, 6 p.m., right after the show, they'll be talking about Serrano. There are some other reports about this individual, Phoenix Eichner, the alleged shooter at the Florida State University Tallahassee campus. We'll talk about that, of course, tomorrow as we get more details, and we'll try to get it in within the first break. I'll be doing some research on a little bit of stuff. I found some interesting things about him that I don't want to pretty much get ahead of myself right now because everything's happening at breakneck speed. So we'll get into that as well. Why not? We can get to the phones. Let's go to Frank in Rocky Hill. Hello, Frank.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm well. It was very interesting to hear your last gentleman call in about the Barack Obama audit.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. I was fairly vocal back in the day on his healthcare proposals, knowing it wasn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I got audited same time in Connecticut. I had to drag my ass down to Hartford. And halfway through the audit, by the way, the woman, when I was sitting in her cubby, had a picture of Barack Obama hanging on her cubby behind her. Halfway through the audit, at the time, she said, "You have to come back. We don't have enough time to finish." And I said, "Oh, okay. I'm available tomorrow, the next day." And she says, "Oh, no. Somebody will contact you."
Oh,
9
wow.
months later, I get a letter in the mail saying, "Everything's fine. You don't know anything. Thanks for coming." It was very, very interesting. So I don't know if it's a pattern or not, but it sounds pretty interesting to me.
First of all, I don't think you're ahead of your skis on this. I don't think that you were being conspiratorial in any way. Let me tell you the first problem in your story. Not about you having a problem. The first problem with the person who audited you. We're talking about what's supposed to be a nonpartisan bureaucrat with a picture of Barack Obama in her cubby.
Absolutely.
That's insane.
I was shaking my head. Matter of fact, she got up to go to the bathroom or something, and I turned to the accountant that I was with, and I said, "Here I am." I said, "I'm in trouble," and I didn't do anything wrong. And obviously, they found that out. But I was like, "This is insane." I thought I was in a movie.
Yeah.
But it's hearing somebody else and saying his neighbor got the same thing, and I got the same thing here in Connecticut. Everybody should be scared. This is crazy.
Yeah. We all saw that in certain parts of our lives. Like I told you, people, I'm going to give up the goods on this story that I got for you, because what everyone experienced, what people are telling me they experienced with the Obama campaign, I experienced with the Clintons, and they were out of office. That's how deep their tentacles were. So I totally understand that. Yeah, it's a crazy thing that was going on. And I think the problem was at the time that I was working in radio back in 2004, I was beginning the show I was with, we were beginning to be syndicated, and there was this threat sort of assessment that was like, you know what, let's stick a little needle in this guy and see how he responds. And so I totally get it. I
mean, it was stressful. Send me a letter saying I owe $25 or something. Big.
I'd be happy to send a check. Right, exactly. Yeah. Do you remember old?
Have a great day.
You got it. Do you remember the old Alan Thicke commercials when he used to say, "You don't have the power to fight back against the IRS," and that's so true. So at least you had an accountant. So thank God, right? Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, that was a waste of money. All right. Thank you.
All right, bye. Let's go to Ralph in South Carolina. How we doing, Ralph?
Good, Reese. Actually, I'm in Florida. I'm going to see your favorite team tomorrow night in Saturday. New York Yankees.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, sure. Do you know they're saying that Aaron Judge is the best all-around hitter in Major League Baseball right now?
He could be.
Yeah, people say he could. He might be.
You give credit where credit's due. I don't care who the team is. Like Ted Williams, he was one of the greatest ever.
Yes.
And it's sad that he never was on a championship team.
I understand that Ted Williams and Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia had a lot in common. Never mind.
No, I don't doubt, yeah.
Never mind. Anyway, why'd you call, sir?
The reason I call, Reese, is do you think all these Democrats will give all these illegals a pardon if they ever get elected? They'll let them go?
Absolutely.
Like Biden let 1,500 people go. We have no idea who they were, what they did.
Absolutely. And I think that, look, if you can go so far as an administration to give preemptive pardons to people they claim have done no wrong, it's not beyond the pale for these folks at all. I think you're 100% right.
Well, the common sense, too, is, and you're a pretty smart fella, why would you pardon somebody who has not been accused of a crime?
Exactly. So, I wouldn't put it past them at all. So,
I mean, this is becoming insanity. It really is, Reese. And these people, they've got to be taken out of the country, and God only knows how many are actually here. We don't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to, little by little, we're going to find out, I think.
Indeed.
And they've got a clean house.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Before we get out of here, and I want to get into this because I teased it. So, you know that I did the stupidest thing I read today was about Coach Auriemma in about his comments after the championship game, the national championship game, saying that, he was worried that, if he hadn't become a citizen in 94, he might be out of here as well due to the Trump administration. And I kind of admonished him about that because, again, no one knew the reason why these people, some 53 of them, were having their visas revoked. Well, the Connecticut Mirror actually has done some background on this, which is exactly what should have been done, stating that, we don't know what they could be removed from, but it's removed for, but it's wrong. I told people yesterday, slow your roll. You have no idea why these people have been removed. And Connecticut Mirror actually has a story about it. Let me get to some of the details here. It says that in March of 2025, people had come from India, China, Canada, South Korea, and Nigeria. Indian students made up 33.41% of the total, with 5,934 students, followed by 4,468 students from China, and a bevy of other students that are on there. Well, they talked to one of the students that was having their visa revoked. Here it says, another avenue to self-deport since one person's status revoked. They can legally be detained by Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement and deported at any time. They said that one person was deported out of this list because they had a run-in with the law. Now, they say that it was a minor infraction, that the run-in with the law was pretty much not expunged, but had been dismissed. But I'm going to ask you what you think of that. It turns out that this individual that remains nameless because of their immigration status said the altercation was between he and a woman. And it was a domestic call. And if I'm reading between the lines on this, apparently it was a serious altercation between he and the woman, or young lady for that matter. And because of that interaction with law enforcement, that means that the person must be removed. Now, I'm just saying that if you are here on a student visa from another country, you are to have, and I think that's the conditions, you are to have no involvement with police, anything on your record. If you do involve yourself with a situation, because the question may arise, because we don't know all the details of this interaction with the woman. If you believe that that bar is set too low, I'd like to hear from you. But the Connecticut Insider, Connecticut, what the heck is this? Connecticut Mirror. Yeah, the Connecticut Mirror is trying to give the impression in editorializing the story, saying that, oh, it was a minor infraction. Yeah, he got pulled over. Police got involved. No. What would be the case if someone had committed a crime in Korea or had committed an infraction that involved police involvement in, I don't know, Qatar? What would be the case? Would they be allowed to stay as students in that country? Probably not. And for domestic, as far as domestic issues are concerned, I don't know. I think that for me, that might be a bridge too far. AG says there was never any information given to us by Obama in any of his correspondence or other communications suggesting in any way that he was born in Kenya and not Hawaii. Error by the editor. This is old news, but feel free to ignore the facts. It was not and never was described as a mistake by the editor. Ever. Now, let's go one step further. AG, inside the chat room, let's go one step further. I want to give you a small bit of homework, and it's real simple. Go look up Barack Obama's admissions into Harvard, Occidental, or Columbia University. Any one of them. See if they're a part of the public record. I'll give you another thing that you can do. Go find out how many lawyers are on the ready, have retainers to protect said information from public view. Has Barack Obama ever written a paper, a dissertation, an actual paper as president of the Law Review? Why isn't that public knowledge? Why haven't we been able to read anything about him or that he's written? Why haven't we heard a policy platform from him in his college days? Read about his ideology, what he believes in. I'll go one step further. Barack Obama in Chicago attended a Saul Alinsky summit. in Chicago. There is a tape of his involvement. He was one of the primary speakers. He's even mentioned on the poster. There is one woman with the videotape of it. Why don't you ask her why she won't release it to the public? And has publicly acknowledged when people went to her to ask her if she would release it to the public, why she never would. That's all. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. It's not old news, because you didn't know any of that. It's new news to you. I come on this microphone every day, my friend, every day, with the facts. I know them all. I make sure that I do. I've worked this puppy. I am not a drive-by analyst. I don't shoot from the hip. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You didn't know any of that. And now I just gave you homework, and I bet you're going to come back with exactly what I expect you to. I'll see you back here tomorrow, or not, because I know, like most people, you won't do the work that I've already done for you. We'll still see you tomorrow.
Hey, whoa. Let's not put all 100 candles on the cake. It'll ruin the frosting and probably set the place on fire. And there's expensive radio equipment in here, too.
Hey, we're back. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. I'm only humoring this because it's kind of funny. But by the way, if you want to be the last but not least caller today, get on the phones. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. You can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. I'm going to put this up one more time since we're getting into this whole Obama nonsense, to just rehash this, to go back in the future, so to speak. I want to go back to this document just to, again, sort of reiterate why some people walk into these conversations not asking the really, really honest questions, right? The questions that people should be asking. Okay, so someone in the chat room named AG is debating me on whether or not a woman actually edited. Her name is Miriam Goodrich, who says, she did publicly say that she edited Barack Obama's liner in his book. Okay, let's take that into consideration. It is true. Let's take it all into consideration. Where did she get the information about being born in Kenya from, if it was a mistake? The only thing in there that they are describing as a mistake is the line, born in Kenya. Where did she grab that out of the ether? The editing, because it's not an editing mistake. It's not an omission of something in a bio. It's an addition to it. Do you get my meaning? So she added on her own, he's born in Kenya. Where did she get that from? She wrote it. Barack Obama didn't write it. Are you completely disputing that Barack Obama wrote his own bio? So this woman, this white woman out of nowhere, no relation to Obama, nothing to do with his childhood or his bio, added that he was born in Kenya out of thin air? There weren't rumblings of these things? That she was writing his bio and said, first African-American president of Harvard Law Review, and was born in Kenya and raised in Indonesia and Hawaii, the son of an American anthropologist and a Kenyan finance minister. He's also an astronaut. No, she didn't add anything else to the bio. Every part of the bio is 100% the letter of fact. But she added on her own, born in Kenya. Right? She added it. So you mean to tell me that it wasn't Hillary Clinton that first brought up that Barack Obama was born in Kenya, and it wasn't Donald Trump who brought it up? According to you, it was Miriam Goodrich. She was the first person to put it in people's mind that he was born there. It's her fault. If she hadn't have just added it to his bio, that poor woman, she is the racist and birther who started it all. Makes sense, people. Makes sense.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
That's my favorite part about doing this. It's like, again, the logic that's out there. You can't beat it. You can't beat logic. Common sense, you can't beat it. It's just that simple. Because, again, look, as I said about this ridiculous problem that people have with the truth, just address that. Make it about anything else to avoid the facts. This woman is supposed to have added that he was born in Kenya. What's the provocation? What's the provocation? There's nothing. It's written back in the 90s. She's got no reason to add on to his resume. He's got a stellar resume to boot. President of the Harvard Law? Went to Columbia? Went to Harvard? Everything. Lived in Indonesia and in Hawaii? Why embellish? And the only thing on there to embellish is that. I'm just asking the question. What's the motivation? That's all. And again, explain to me the motivation. Anybody bother to ask her? All she said was, no, it was my bad. I wrote it. Not one person followed up and says, what inspired you to add that? Where'd you get that from? Like out of nowhere. You just threw it in? Did you hear rumblings? Were there rumors? Did he think about it? Like what made you do that? Nothing. You got nothing. And nobody's ever going to have anything. That's why immediately anybody who's supposed to be talking about it shuts down. They completely clam up. Well, you're just defending Trump. That's how I know I got you. That's how I know. Hey, make it about Trump all day. Just answer my question. What motivated Miriam? That's all. Can't do it? Probably for a reason. Because it doesn't make sense. And if you can't rationalize it, then your lie is busted. You're busted in your own lie. Just say, I want to believe it, Reese. I want to believe it. I don't want to believe the other thing. I don't want to have to do the research. I want to live comfortably in my lie. Fine, live there. You're good. It's always good to live there. Let's go to the phones. Dave's in Litchfield. How are you, sir?
Hello. I work for a federal agency, and I thought that the Hatch Act applied to those, where you're not allowed to discuss political stuff at work. You're not allowed to be stumping for a candidate at work.
Correct. As a bureaucrat. Now, you're talking about the man who called earlier about the woman who had a Barack Obama picture in her cubicle.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that was... It's funny because I had heard stories afterwards that there were plenty of, outside of the picture that hangs outside, like the lobby of the office tells you who the commander-in-chief is or who the secretary is of that building, that was something that they saw frequently. In fact, you might remember this. When USAID was raided by DOJ a couple of months ago, ABC News talked to a young lady after she was asked to leave her office, as many of them were fired. Do you remember what that woman said to ABC News when she said DOJ showed up?
No, I
You don't? Okay, go back.
remember.
I'll play. I'll find the audio for you. But she said to them, when they found out DOJ was coming, they immediately started taking down rainbow flags and other pictures that were hanging in a government building. So exactly what you're talking about. Like they were literally doing the crime that you're talking about. They started tearing down these political and clearly partisan issues off their walls.
Right. Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yes, I do. There's just so much information. You get a lot thrown at you at once. But my mother had a fella come to the house. I'll just say he was a music teacher. And he was a very liberal guy, but we started arguing about climate change. And, I'll go with the fact that, I have a cousin who's a science teacher. She said it's happening, but I wanted to embellish, but we were arguing about it. Then he got upset that people, this is when Obama was in office, that the conservatives would call him Barack Hussein Obama. to him, when a conservative would say his Barack's full name out like that, that was like going up to a Christian and saying, "God damn it, Jesus Christ." that was his God.
Yes.
And the conservatives, by saying his full name, were insulting him. He was getting upset. He's getting hot in the collar and telling it to my mother. And like,
I never understood that either, because first of all, I say it because of the reason you're expressing, the individual you're discussing, because I know it agitates them. But everyone's got to ask the question, and it's a fair question to ask. Why was Barack Obama concerned with it? And can I tell you why? It's because of one passage in his book. There's one passage in his book, and Barack Obama can't deny it because he wrote it, okay? And it's in The Audacity of Hope. He says, when the chips fall down, I will take the religion of my father. That was his words. Nobody else's. So the religion of his father's a Muslim. His father follows Islam. So Barack Obama saying in his book, again, before he is thinking about becoming president of the United States, so again, there's no motivation to keep that out of his book. He doesn't have that aspiration at the time. But he writes it in his book thinking, okay, I'll just say it because that's how I feel. And then somebody bringing it up to him, hey, you say you're going to follow the religion of your father should the chips fall down, and your middle name is Hussein, and now you're upset about it for someone bringing it up? It was like being upset that people say, hey, Obama eats dog. Whoa, what do you mean Obama eats dog? I don't know. Ask Obama. He wrote about it. So it's all of these people upset about Barack Obama doing the thing that we are then pointing out.
Right. I know. It's a religious fervor for those people. And, it's a crummy religion. They don't even promise you eternal life. But you're going to worship somebody. I mean, worship people who work with their hands. They produce something of that. People spend their lives in politics, don't produce anything. I had a lawyer tell me, told me that the law doesn't say what you can do. It says what you can't do or how you have to do something.
That's correct.
And you sit on your butt generating paperwork. You sit on there as a politician, and you spend your life saying it shall be illegal to do this. It shall be illegal to do that. You must do this way. That's not real work. You're not producing anything of value for society. You're not planting a tree. You're not cooking food. You're not growing food. You're not educating children. You're not fixing cars. You're not just storing a house. You're not really producing anything.
There's such a great point that you just said there, Dave, is that line about people relying on government laws are things to tell you what you shouldn't do or what you can't do. And that's the way in which people look at the world. It's like, what laws can't I break? And you should always be looking from the point of freedom, not from the point of oppression, which I find interesting that some people do.
Well, in the old days and religion can be a good thing, but you used to burn people at the stake for violating religion. Although the witches in Salem were hanged, except for one, Giles Corey. I think he was a convicted warlock. They pressed him to death.
Right.
But people, if they don't have an organized religion, they look for something else. In some ways, maybe we don't ever get over our parents if we had good parents.
Sure.
You need a father figure, so you look to a God, and many people do that, and that's fine. As you practice a relationship, makes a better person. But people don't have that; they look to government. There are people still complimenting the old Soviet Union and Joseph Stalin and V.I. Lenin, and it's like, are you kidding me? Those people
elected officials who celebrate. We had an elected official many years ago. I want to say about 20 years ago, where the woman was actually celebrating that of Chairman Mao. We're talking about at a Senate oversight. A congressional oversight hearing was celebrating that of Chairman Mao.
Well, here's something. Here's some food for thought. When the Soviets took over, I guess they killed the Romanovs, the czars there in 1917, and then the communists took over. The Soviet banking system collapsed in 4 years. That's how long the initial attempt to set up banking. And then communism lasted, Soviet Union lasted for 70 years. So Christianity's been going around for 2,000 years. Islam about 1450 or so. Judaism for 5,700 years. So, no matter how many times a powerful government fails, and ruins things, people still want to try it. They're looking for a deity, and that's it.
You're 100% right. Hey, Dave, do you mind if I make you my last but not least caller of the day and get you a dozen bagels a month for 6 months?
Okay.
Just stay on hold. Just stay on hold. We'll take care of the rest. That's right. We're going to make Dave our last but not least caller today. I can't give it to the other guys because they've been on before. I think I've given it to them before. But yeah, we got to get out of here. Tomorrow's show, don't forget, it's ladies' night.
Yes, it's ladies' night, and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night.
That's right. My wife is going to be here. I'm sorry. I really, really love that part of the movie. We will, if it's on TBS or whatever it is, we will stop it so we can get comfortable so we can watch that scene. John Lovitz is the best in that movie. He just is. I don't know why. But as soon as my wife says, let's do a little bit on a show, and I said, we'll call it Ladies' Night, and we thought of that immediately. Both of us thought of it. I said, if we could do the intro with John Lovitz. So that's why we do it. So check that out tomorrow. She'll be with us at the 5 o'clock hour. It's a great conversation. I haven't told her what it is yet. By the way, I never do. I never tell my wife what the topic is. And the reason why is that I want her raw, honest feedback on that topic. Tomorrow may be, I'm going to tell you right now, tomorrow may be a little dicey. It's going to be a little dicey because it's a sore subject with my wife. It's very, not really sore, but kind of sore. It can be sore. Let's just put it that way. It can be sore. What else do I have? We did a bike ride yesterday, and I want to congratulate myself if I can. I did 10 miles there and back. We did 5 miles out and then 5 miles back. I was going to take a picture of some of the road that we went on because there's these roads that have these hairpin turns that are like, what's the name of that street in San Francisco, Roland? Do you know it? Is it Lombardi or Lombard Street? Do you know it?
I do not.
Okay. If somebody knows in the chat room, I think it's called Lombardi Street. But I could be wrong. It may be Lombard. I know it's some variation of that word. But it's a tourist attraction in San Francisco where you crisscross. You've seen
it's Lombard.
It is Lombard. Okay, so Lombard Street. I knew it was one of those. Thank you, Kathy. That road. There are these paths on the trails that we go on that are literally like that, and they're downhill. So you can't ride your bike down, fast at all because you'll end up, a couple of 100 feet down off the ravine, but it is beautiful. Kathy says that she drove it years ago. It's one of the places I want to go is to, at least, I don't even want to drive down the road. I just want to walk down because I'm pretty sure on any given day, the traffic on that road as a tourist attraction has got to be hours of a wait. But I just want to walk down the road, so maybe get a couple of pictures of it. It's a kind of I won't call it a bucket list thing. It's just something I want to do. If I ever get the chance. So, we got a lot of those roads like that. So I'm going to see if I can take some pictures of it, and we'll post them online. This bike riding thing is great. I even pulled the thigh muscle just on the top of my thigh that I'm starting to feel a little bit now. I was trying to ride the bike up the hill. And it was, somebody could explain to me what I did, which was crazy. So I'm trying to go up the hill, and it is on that little hairpin turn thing. So I made a right turn, and it was a sharp turn to get up. And what happened was I felt the bike like it was going to tip over because I turned it too sharp, and I was losing my balance. And in doing so, I hit the pedal really hard, and I didn't sprain it, but you know how you tighten up the muscle too quick for your reaction? It's almost like you're unprepared for what your muscle is doing. And it happened so fast. I was like, oh, and I had to get off, and it felt like a cramp. And I had to walk, and I couldn't bend it. And it was right on I think they call it the quad. That's what's the guy from who was part of that steroid scandal? Victor Christophe. Victor Christophe or something his name is. He was on a 60-minute interview. He was talking about what was her name? The girl who injected. He's like, yeah, she injected it in her quad. Yeah, I pulled that muscle, and it hurt like hell. God. And I can still feel a little residual pain, but I'm going to go back and do it again. Hairpins are called switchbacks in biking. Okay, it's called switchbacks. Okay, that's good to know. And if you need cycle advice, reach out to Joe Biden. I heard he's a pro. I didn't have that happen. That's not happening on my watch, folks. Be careful. It's never going to happen. It's time for me to get up out of here. Yeah. No, regular bike. I'm going pedaling. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You, good night and a pleasant tomorrow. I'm never getting one of those death machines.
Riding off into the sunset, wearing his chaps. Looking good, Reese.
No thanks.
Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.